Motor vehicle safety. Reduce motor vehicle accidents in teen drivers. In 2006, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention estimated that 36% of all mortality were teenagers ages 16 to 19. As a result of this statistic, a graduated driver licensing program was implemented upstate New York in 55 counties in 2003. The target population was 16 to 19-year-old teenage drivers. The goals of the graduated driver licensing program were to observe safety benefits in the 55 counties in which it was implemented, to evaluate the effectiveness in prevention of fatal injuries in 16 and 17-year-old beginner drivers, and to examine the association between GDL and traffic injuries to this population as passengers, bicyclists, and pedestrians. The key question: is the graduated driver license an effective program in preventing traffic-related injuries in upstate New York? Although the GDL was implemented to curtail teen fatality and incapacitating injuries, there were several social factors and determinants of health that needs to be considered that may impact the effectiveness of the program. It is a social norm for teenagers to go to the mall, movies, and socialize with friends on the weekends, which means many of them would be driving. In this new millennium, almost all teenagers are connected to social media and engage in the use of mobile devices while driving. Upstate New York has limited public transportation options, therefore, teens are forced to drive in order to get around. Education is another social factor in this age group. Teen drivers often do not see the need to engage in the safety rules of the road. They are at the age of experimenting and seek to engage in drugs and alcohol use. Most of the factors in this target population are regarding behavior. In considering the target population diverse perspectives, GDL was again implemented out of the need to save lives, and the diversity is the population at large. Granted, it was started in upstate New York in rural communities, but traffic death and incapacitating injury resulted due to poor driving skills on the part of teen driving that caused the death of themselves or anyone on the road at the time of the incident. Anyone that would encounter a teen on the road could be a victim, and race is not a factor because all races travel on the road and could be victims to this end. The researchers' targeted population was all inclusive of race. The focus for the group was age. In understanding the researchers' goals, understanding the public health priorities is equally important, which are ensuring road safety for passengers and drivers, reducing fatalities among teen drivers, and educating young drivers about road safety. The key players most involved in this process were 16 to 19-year-old young drivers, licensed guardians, driver education teachers, and law enforcement. The public health professionals working together on this program were police, educators, EMS technicians, and doctors. The state could not reduce teen fatal accidents alone. Therefore, external stakeholders like the Department of Motor Vehicles, Center for Disease Control, Licensing Department, pedestrians, bicyclists, and drivers all contributed to the program. The program was funded by the National Highway of Traffic Safety Administration. To get the community to buy into this program, I will use marketing tools such as the media, parent education programs, and incentives. Social media has been one of the best arenas for advertising for teenagers and youths. Information regarding the increased benefits of completing a GDL program would be advertised. By offering incentives for participating in the program, I anticipate more participation. The cause of these motor vehicle crashes can be attributed to inexperience, high-risk taking behavior, and high-risk exposure and teens not knowing the roads or can comprehend their actions. This program was successful because in every state that the GDL was implemented, it showed a reduction of novice driver deaths and it reduced crashes among new drivers. Overall, GDL systems reduce the youngest drivers' crash risks by approximately 20 to 40%. Although participating in the program is voluntary, if a teenager wants to obtain his or her driver license, they must participate in this program or wait until the age to obtain a license at 18. Some believe that driving at 16 is too young, even though GDL permits it after one has finished the stages. Some opponents argue that 16-year-olds, even though they are allowed to drive, does not mean they have the maturity to deal with the physical or emotional challenges of driving. Some opponents include parents, drivers, teen drivers enrolled in the program, and graduated driver license graduates. After a teenager graduates from the program, they may not be taught defensive driving skills. Another important concern that's sprouted, the opponent contends that more young people will be on the road if teen drivers are restricted to just driving alone, and that may increase fatality among this cohort. The social, economic, and political factors contributed to the need for the GDL program in all states is the startling statistics on teen drivers, specifically 16 and 19-year-olds who have the highest fatality crash rates in the United States. However, 16-year-olds are 3 times more likely to be involved in a crash than 19-year-olds. Other social factors include behavior, public safety, and transportation options. Economic factors include state funding, local funding, federal funding, and insurance institute. Some political factors, program equality, and legislation. Since the political and ethical considerations were being exhausted, the opposing viewpoints were grappling for answers. A bigger question emerged. Should the driving age be raised? In large part, the GDL does allow for a 16-year-old to drive, provided that the 16-year-old is involved in the learner stage and the intermediate stage. The learner stage, the driver must be supervised with an adult for 6 months and spend 30 to 50 hours with this adult driver, while in the intermediate stage, no nighttime driving is allowed, and the teen must drive from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. They cannot drive during those hours. The short and long-term effects of the GDL program is worth noting because the benefits outweigh the pitfalls. Key partners in the program include the DMV, law enforcement, parents, driver education, medical, and health professionals and organizations. These stakeholders will have an integrated approach and are required to reduce high teen crash rates during the first 6 months of unsupervised driving, including integrating licensing, driver education, parent involvement and monitoring, peer programs, and insurance systems in a comprehensive community effort. Public health and traffic safety officers will work with policymakers to make GDL's effects more pronounced, with combining and coordinating various interventions that should show promising results. Some of the positive effects are strong driving skills and early knowledge of driving. Long-term effects: reduce high teen crash rates. Negative effects: increased exposure to crashes due to a young age of driving. Although the risk factors for the GDL program are negligible because it's a volunteer program, students do not have to join if they don't want to. However, some have argued that in rural American communities where transportation is scarce and some teens have to work at night and attend school, not being able to use their vehicle at night is a hardship for them. Some parents argue that this measure is too strict. If other communities want the GDL in their area, I would offer that the GDL can also be tailored to fit any community need, especially for those who have high teen fatality in crashes. The program is now looking towards having more measuring tools added to their program. It focuses on improving GDL laws and implementing a mandatory parental involvement campaign as one of the highest priorities. The GDL now wants to mandate parent orientation, extend permit periods, move administrative sanctioning, and establish a state-level driver education committee which shows to reduce violations, crashes, and fatalities. The GDL is also looking down the road towards creating driver incentive programs. Hopefully, this will create an incentive program in which teens would receive incentives such as gift cards, movie passes, etc., for maintaining violation-free and crash-free driving records during the intermediate state of licensing. The GDL is also toying with the idea that the parent should be sent a notification of their teen convictions record or at least be given access to the driving record of their child. The program will eventually develop a system that will automatically notify the parent when a conviction is posted to the teen's driver's record, and this will allow the parent to address their concern about their teen driving habits and could reduce teen crashes because the parents could retard the teen driving privileges right on the spot. We see here in the 16 to 20 age group, according to the U.S. Department of Transportation, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and the Federal Highway Administration, 32.64% involvement rate in crashes. According to the Insurance Information Institute released November 2016, the following statistics were provided. We see the need for GDL programs as there is an increase in deaths among the 16 to 20-year-olds to continue reducing fatalities and crashes in this age group. To conclude, motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death among 16 to 20-year-olds according to the National Center for Health Statistics. 1,678 drivers ages 16 to 20 died in motor vehicle crashes in 2014, compared with 1,651 drivers in this age group in 2013, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Every state has a graduated driver license law that includes a 3-phase program to help teens to develop more mature driving attitudes and gain experience behind the wheel. References for this evidence-based programs were obtained from the following sources. Thank you.